Are you looking for a Scrum Master job? If so, then you are in the right place. Agile Core Community is the only place that is a one-stop resource for you to help you land your first Scrum Master job. Not only can you watch our videos and learn from our videos and all the unlimited resources that this community gives you, you can also join our free WhatsApp group from the link down below in the description of every video. Not only that, you can even join our mentorship programs in which we place you on a live project where you learn on-hand job skills. If you don't have any experience, this is the best place to learn how to become a Scrum Master with a live on project. And you can share that in your resume as well. If you are a person who's looking for a Scrum Master job and you don't have any experience, get in touch with me. Join our mentorship program and you will learn live on an actual project by being an actual Scrum Master. Nobody does that. Nobody can do that for you. I'm the only person that can help you land your first Scrum Master job. Not only that, if you're looking for a SAFe certification, join our community and I'll also help you get your SAFe certification. There's extra charges for that, but you can get your SAFe certification also through the Agile Core community. This community, this resource is your only solution. If you don't have any experience and you're looking for a Scrum Master job, this is your only place. I'm the only person that can help you. Thank you so much for watching. Now back to the video.
All right, Valentine. So let's get the interview started. As always, Valentine, first of all, let me give you a background. So for this Scrum Master role, what we are looking for is we are looking for a dynamic Scrum Master with a strong personality, who is well versed in backlog refinement, who is well versed in all the Scrum ceremonies, facilitating all the Scrum ceremonies, and who is also well versed in making sure that the team performs and there is more sustainability in the team and the team reaches their sprint goal on time. So we are looking for a Scrum Master for this position. So based on that, talk to me about yourself.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about myself. My name is Valentine. I'm a certified Scrum Master. We have an overall experience of over 10 years in the industry, and I've been working as a Scrum Master for about 5 to 6 years today. So I began in the waterfall space as a project manager, and then before transitioning into the Agile space. And since then, I've worked with different forms of applications, starting from cloud-based applications, with web form applications integrated with Agile, Scrum and Kanban, and with their web forms and the Jenkins, using tools like DevOps, Jira, and Confluence. I also work with different forms of projects, like migration projects, building CI and CD pipelines, and deploying them using Kubernetes and Docker. I've also add new functionality to existing applications. So I began as a support manager for Canadian Tire. Then I worked my way up to being a Scrum Master with the Royal Bank of Canada, where I worked there for 3 years. And then I was internally promoted to where I become a Scrum Master with a different company, where I work with 2 teams, a safe environment, and I collaborated with the release train engineer. Currently, I'm working for TransLink British Columbia. It's a safe environment where I work with 2 teams, one at the performing stage and the other one at the norming stage. I assist the product owner to ensure that the backlog is healthy. I use the Scrum metrics to monitor the Scrum progress. I facilitate all Scrum ceremonies, starting from Scrum planning, daily stand-up, sprint review, retrospective, backlog refinement. I also measure the team progress and keep transparency between the teams and the stakeholders. But I do understand this role you are looking for is a very difficult one to fill, but I believe with my communication skill, my expertise, and my talents, I will be able to help you to resolve the problems that you are facing with your company. I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you.
Awesome. That is great intro. Now talk to me about, so you mentioned many terms there. You mentioned, Canadian Tires, you mentioned Kanban even there. You mentioned you manage 2 teams right now. So talk to me about your experience in identifying the maturity of the teams. How do you identify which team is more mature and which team deserves more time?
Actually, thank you for that question. Before I identify that a team is a mature team, I look at many factors. So I see how happy the team members they are, and how they are able to deliver value. That's the first thing. So if they are delivering high business value, it means it's a mature team. Secondly, if a team can be able to work without having too much problem, too much conflicts, it means that that team is collaborative and it's a mature team. But certainly, if a team can be able to work without the Scrum Master, like able to take his own decisions, able to handle their own stuff by themselves, facilitate ceremonies by themselves, it means it's a very highly mature team. But if a team is there's transparency among the team, there's communication among the team, there is that mutual respect among the team that are open among each other, there is functionality and self-organizing, means a very mature team. So if the customers are also satisfied and the feedback from the stakeholders are really good and positive, it means the team is mature. So if a team is continuously completing the work that is starting, and then finishing meeting deadlines and then completing their goals, it means that it's a mature team. Thank you.
Awesome. How do you ensure transparency between your teams? You said you manage two teams. How do you ensure transparency between the teams?
For during the spring review and during our demo, we present what they will have be able to deliver to the stakeholders, and then the stakeholders give their feedback, and the feedback now is being implemented in the backlog, and then we keep that alignment between the team and the stakeholder, making sure that they are actually at the same page. So that is how I keep the transparency among the teams and the stakeholders.
Awesome, awesome. Okay. And how do you ensure that you build a cross-functional team? What is your understanding of a cross-functional team, and how do you make sure that you're building a cross-functional team?
Cross-functionality among the team means that team members can perform this role that other team members can, means that I can be able to do your job, you can do the X job, X can do B job. So it means that, like, in order to make that happen, I always pair up a team member, like most experienced developers with the least experienced one, so that they be able to work this person in such a way that if one team member is not available, the other one can equally perform the job and the team will not be stuck because of one team member. That's how I keep up transparency, cross-functionality among the team.
Awesome, awesome. So talk to me about the metrics. How do you measure the performance of your team?
I use the Scrum metric example is the burn up chart and the burn down chart, where actually I read the burn down chart. The burn down chart is a graphical representation of the springs, the x-axis measuring the velocity, and the x-axis, the x-axis measuring the days, and the y-axis measuring the spring velocity. So you look at how the spring is moving. So if the spring is moving on time, the line, the line that they're actually working on will be ahead. It will be ahead of the ideal line. So if that line is ahead of the ideal line, it means that the team is working ahead of schedule. It means it's really fast and it's a performing team. But if the team is behind the ideal line, means that it is not doing well, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done to keep the team up to task. So that is how I use the Scrum method. I can also use the burn up chart, which is a chart that shows the amount of work that the team is left to be completed to finish the project. So I can either use the burn down chart or the burn up chart to measure the progress. I can also use other metrics like velocity utilization, like capacity utilization metrics, like the scope change, defect leakage metrics to measure the progress as well.
Awesome. How have you added value to your team since you joined your organization? Your previous organization, you mentioned you managed two teams. It's a Canadian Tire. How has the team improved since the time you joined?
Before I joined the team, they were not really doing well with their velocity. I discovered when I joined the team, I discovered that they were not able to complete most of their sprints on time. And after observing like 2 to 3 sprints, I figured out the problem that was going on. So I discovered that when they went in for estimation, they just go ahead and estimate and assign story points to story without actually doing the forecast planning. So because of that, they were overestimating, and those are the challenges that we were facing. So Then I bring in the story point estimation, and then they started following that, and because of that, their velocity started changing. So also they were only being able to estimate at 30 points. But when I joined the team, they started going up to 45 story points. That's how I added value to my team, and then I keep them moving. Thank you.
Awesome. What is it that you don't like about Scrum?
Uh, Actually, I can't say that I don't like anything about Scrum. Scrum is good. The only thing that I can say I don't like about Scrum is that is change. It needs change. Like you need to be flexible. You need to change your way of working. You need to abandon the old way and then follow the new way. It has to adopt adaptive way, changing all the time. The adaptive to change all the time and so on. So it's just being able to respond to this change on time that is actually challenging. But I can't really say that I don't like something about Scrum is good.
Okay. Uh, how do you maintain, how do you build trust between your teams?
The way I build trust among my team is like trying open communication among the team, making like example during retrospective and make sure that the team actually communicating. We go out of the work scope and then we discuss other things that can make the team to be open, get to know each other. And then that's how the team developer will get to know each other really well. Then the more they know each other, the more they can be open to those people, and then they build trust. So it's just keeping that communication and then facilitating good communication among the team. Thank you.
Awesome. How does a Scrum Master, what is the relationship between the Scrum Master and the product owner? How does a Scrum Master build trust between that relationship?
The Scrum Master is the servant leader, right? The servant leader who is leading the team to guiding the team and facilitating the team to make sure that they are delivering value. And then the product owner is the person who is in charge, who own the backlog, the one who's collecting that story from customers, and then letting the team to know what they are going to do, and that so the relationship between them is just to like I keep that collaboration among with my product owner, very cordial communication. Like we talk day to day on daily basis, making sure that we are on the same page at all the time. And I do everything to make sure I assist him to do most of the work that we need to do to make sure that the team is moving ahead. So that's how I keep that relationship with the
Yeah.
product.
What do you think is the most important quality of a successful Scrum Master?
As a successful Scrum Master, you need to have the qualities of a leader. So you need to be very organized. You need to be an active listener. You need to you don't need to talk on the bad side of the team. Always praise your team. Then always allow them to do the work and believe that they can do it. And then reward hard work. And then give time for them, like uh, give some coffee, like time, appreciate the time that I've spent to do the job, and then when and welcome new ideas as well, and then cherish and welcome new ideas. And those who ideas are not good, don't like actually judge them, because I don't be too judgmental. Then try to encourage them, try to guide them and promote them. So you also have to know that you lead by example, leading by example, not being the boss, but being the leader at the same time a servant. So leading by example. So those are some of the qualities of that you have to have as a Scrum Master, and know
Yeah.
that it's a challenging role. Dealing with people is challenging. You have to also be submissive. You have to also be nice, like people, interpersonal relationship, making sure that you keep a good communication, clear and good instructions for your team to follow, and then let them know that you are there for them, there to protect them, then there to guide them, and there to make sure that they are happy all the time. Yeah.
What has been your most challenging project as a Scrum Master so far?
The most challenging project that I have as a Scrum Master was when we're actually finishing up with one of our projects when I was working with Canadian Tire. And then the middle of that spring, we had another a change request from the management that we have to start a brand new project that was a high priority. So it was actually difficult combining. It was during COVID-19 and a lot of things were going on, a lot of challenges were going on. So I can think that with the limited staff because of COVID-19, it was very challenging, but we're able to figure out things, work in collaboration and keep everything on page, and then we were able to handle the situation.
Awesome. That's great. So how do you resolve dependencies between teams?
I will resolve dependency among the team is by using like I use like 2-3 methods to resolve dependency. Like I recognize that there is a dependency. I act on I act on time, and then I follow up, and then I share the result of the action. So for example, if my team is having a dependency with a different team, I will actually make sure I follow up that dependency immediately, get in contact with the Scrum Master of that team, and then together we'll discuss on that dependency, and then we see how we can be able to create some time in order to deal with it, and then we can link that dependency up to the Jira board. Now we can track it and see how the progress is. Then from there, we'll be able to monitor the progress and then get it done. Thank you.
Awesome. And how have you managed technical debt in the past?
Technical debt, the way I've managed technical debt is by we always make sure that we put them on the board, like we put them on our Jira board, and then we encourage team members that actually that have completed their stories to pick up work from the board, so that we at each time we have like limited amount of technical debt, like things that have to be done. So the way I manage it is by actually preventing it from piling up. So by encouraging that when team members that are actually having less work, they should make sure that they pick up more work from the board and get it done.
Awesome. Awesome. Who do you report to?
I report to my I report to my manager, my hiring manager.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's the role in the organization?
Yeah, my hiring manager, right? Like by team, so the product owner is the Scrum Master and developer. So the person I report to is my hiring manager. So that's the person I report to.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Management.
Awesome. Yeah. What do you understand by what do you do in a situation when the team is not able to meet their sprint goal?
When a team is not able to meet the sprint goal, there might be first I would try to find out why the team is not able to meet with the sprint goal. It may be because they are not doing proper estimation. Maybe because they are overcommitting. Maybe because of they are doing our estimation instead of 30-point estimation and it's slowing them down. Maybe they are not doing good retrospective. And then because of that, so I'll find out to know why the team is not meeting up with the goal. Then when I get that, maybe because the product owner is constantly bringing in stories in the middle of the sprint to slow the sprint down and things like that. So if that is the case, I will meet up with my product owner and then I understand why is the reason behind that. So after getting that understanding, I will see if it is of high priority. Then if it's of high priority, then we can put it in at the same time, we remove the same amount of story points, then so that it will not lead to overcome, the team will not overcome it. So the way I will handle it is by seeing where the problem is, and then I handle it, I get there, I handle it from that point. Thank you.
Okay. And how do you measure the success of your team?
The success of my team is measured. The goal is value, delivering value to the customers. So the success of a team is measured on how they are able to deliver the value and how happy the customers are at the end. So if the customers are satisfied, go in high value is delivered. Now it means that the team is a successful team and they're always meeting deadlines, completing their projects on time, and then they're not carrying over. It means that it's actually a successful team. Thank you.
And who writes user stories in your team?
The product owner, and sometimes I do write them sometimes. I assist the product owner sometimes, especially when it's busy. I do write user stories as well.
Awesome. So what is your understanding of a user story? What do you mean by, what do you understand when someone says a good user story? What is your understanding of that?
A user story is a tool that actually is a basic functional tool that delivers value to the customer, and it has to be following the criteria of the user story, which is the inverse criteria. Means that it has to be independent. The story has to be independent, has to be negotiable. It has to be valuable, they have to be estimatable, testable, and has to be a small. So it means that a story for a story, and it has to also have an acceptance criteria, which is well defined acceptance criteria for a story to be like, yes, that's how a user story is supposed to be. Thank you.
Awesome. What is your understanding of a backlog? What do you mean when they say healthy backlog? What is your understanding of a healthy backlog?
A healthy backlog means that the backlog has a proper prioritization of the user story. New user story are properly prioritized, that is estimated, and then it has proper acceptance criteria. If all these things, all these check is on track, it means that the backlog is healthy. It means this is estimated, is prioritized, it has acceptance criteria, is ready. It's ready for developers to start working on it. It means the backlog is very healthy. Thank you.
Awesome. That's beautiful. Now talk to me about difference between definition of ready versus definition of done.
Definition of done means it is a checklist that allowed that qualifies a user stories to be considered done, like it's a checklist that when that checklist is met, it means that the story is done and is ready to be delivered. So by the definition of ready is just it is checklist, it's also a characterized checklist that enable a story to be made ready for developers to start working on it. So it has to meet certain criteria as well for developers to consider that it's ready for them to start working on it. And when it approved the product owner, when it gets the product owner approval, means that is ready for developers to start working on it. So that's the difference between definition of ready and definition of done.
So which Scrum value is your least favorite?
My least favorite, you said?
Yeah.
So this value that says that responding to change is more than following a plan. So no, as a Scrum Masters and a Scrum, there is respond to change. It's always responding to change, adapting to new things all the time. So that Scrum value is very important because it encourages team members like the Scrum team to always be ready to respond to change. Like if there is any change request, or the product owner bringing in any change, he has to be responsive to that change as quickly as possible. So I really like that Scrum value. Thank you.
Awesome. What is your understanding of enabler stories? Enabler stories or spikes? What's your understanding of those?
Yeah, it just enable, it's just like a spike that enables a user story to be delivered. It's like a spike that it is an enabler, just like its name is defining itself. So it enables a user story to deliver value to the customer. It's like spike.
Awesome. So, so what do you do in certain meetings? Let's say during the stand-up. The stand-up is only 15 minutes, right? It's a time box ceremony. What do you do in a situation when you are over the time?
The time box is 15 minutes, but sometimes it's really difficult to keep that 15 minutes. But according to the Scrum guide we have, is the time box is 15 minutes. But in some situation, like you will make them know that it's 50. They know that, let them know it's 15-minute time box. But in my organization, the way I do, I keep 15 minutes for to check on the progress, 15 minutes for question and answers, because like people cannot be speaking like you just stop them at abruptly. So I keep 15 minutes for that activity, and then after that, any question and answer, they can sometimes it goes to 30 minutes, sometimes lesser. So that's the way we do it. Thank you.
Yeah, you also mentioned Kanban. What is your understanding of Kanban?
Kanban is another framework of Agile, like Scrum. So it enable work in progress, like it encourage work in progress. So it limiting the amount of work that each developer is supposed to do at a given time. So, but in my organization, we are actually using the Scrum framework, and just as many organizations they do. Thank you.
Awesome. Do you have any questions for me, Eric?
I just wish to ask what if I get hired for this role, what would you be expecting? What will you be expecting from me for the next 6 months that I will be working? What will you be? What are the challenges I'm going to face on the field when I'm start working for the next 6 months?
Yeah, some of the challenges that I see is that our product owner is really new. So you might be, doing a little bit of coaching with the product owner, kind of helping her with the user story creation, with the story point estimation, backlog refinement, collecting of backlog and things like that. So that can be one of the challenges. The other challenges is managing the backlog. The backlog is kind of all spread out. Everything is without a parent element. It's all like misplaced. So you might need to kind of work on that and make sure the backlog is healthy and things like that.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions for me?
After this, what next? What should I be expecting next after this interview?
Yeah, so the next steps will be basically, the hiring person will reach out to you, and she will tell you the next steps if you will have more rounds of interview based on our feedback from today.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, thank you so much. I don't have another question.
All right. Proud of you, brother. You did great. Thank you. Hold on.